Does Tia Clayton and Christian Coleman has what it takes to pull off a win at the Zurich Diamond League, which will not just make them Diamond League champions, but will give them an individual spot to represent at Worlds in Tokyo, Japan, which is set for another 3 weeks. Hello everyone, welcome to another upload. Hope you're all doing great. So it's the eve of the Zurich Diamond League, and guess what? My top picks for winning the men's 100 meter and the women's 100 meter is Tia Clayton and Christian Coleman. And I know some of you might be saying, but this girl is crazy. Let's take a look at the start list. So we have Tia Clayton outside of Jamaica, and if you have been following, Tia did not pick up an individual spot at the national trials because she was injured in the finals. However, Tia Clayton had her breakout year last year, went to the Olympics, made it to the finals, was looking superb all season, and then, an injury. Tia Clayton is one of those athletes who I believe, if it wasn't for the unfortunate situation of being injured in the finals, would have been one of the persons who would have picked up an individual spot at Jamaica. The reality is she is looking as one of our strongest contender this season when we take away the injury, right? So she was injured, she came back, ran a PB 10:82 seconds, and she is looking good. While I'm still a little bit concerned for Tia Clayton because of how I saw her pulled up at the trials and then she came back, run so hard, run 10:82. I'm still a little bit concerned of just wondering if that injury is somewhere in the background, and therefore she pushed herself really hard at the Diamond League finals tomorrow. Will that injury act up again? But regardless of that, when I look on the lineup, we have Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, who is the girl to beat this season, most of the season, until Melissa Jefferson entered the chat. Now, it was rumored that, Julian Alfred had picked up a little injury. Julian is here to run the Diamond League. I guess she wants to put an end to that talk about her being injured. I guess, she probably wants to prove a point, but is it that Julian really need to win the Diamond League that badly? I don't think so. I think Tia Clayton is more hungry for the simple fact that winning the Diamond League could give her an individual spot for Worlds, and that is the dream of any athlete, right? To represent at a major championship. So right now, as it is, the lineup is, of course, Julian Alfred. Her season's best is 10.75 or 10.72 PB, and we know that she has been looking superb all season. We have Dina Asher Smith, 10.93 is her season's best. Tia Clayton, of course, 10.82 PB. Zoe Hobbs of New Zealand will also be facing the starter. 10.94 is her season's best and PB. Switzerland's Salome Cora also faces the starter. USA's Maya McCoy faces the starter. Jesus Sears faces the starter. Her season's best 10.85. Marie-Jose Talou Smith, the veteran who has run 10.87 this season, faces the starter. And Patricia Van der Weeken, 11.05. So I look at the start list, and in my opinion, the challenge here for Tia Clayton is Julian Alfred. The challenge for Tia is Julian Alfred. Will Tia be able to go out there and get the better of Julian Alfred in this race that is so important for her? A race that will get her an individual spot for Tokyo, which is 3 weeks away. It all depends. If the rumors were true that, something was really happening with Julian Alfred, I guess we will see it on the track tomorrow. But while Julian has all the better times, I am thinking, because Tia is so hungry, because Tia wants that individual spot, I think Tia has more that is pushing her. I mean, a win for Julian, yes, it would be a big deal to win the Diamond League. But I think for Tia Clayton, the push, the motivation, the reason behind why she needs to win at this moment, to me, is greater than any reason that Julian Alfred would want to win the Diamond League, if you get what I'm saying, right? So I am saying that it is a possibility. It's not going to be easy, but it is a possibility that Tia Clayton could go out there and win the Zurich Diamond League tomorrow. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts. If what I'm saying make sense, do you see Tia Clayton beating a Julian Alfred? Am I just being overly optimistic? Let me know. Drop your comments. I want to hear from you. And of course, on the men's side, the winner as well, gets a spot at Tokyo. And let's look at the start list, because I am thinking that Christian Coleman has eyes on winning the Diamond League. And again, I know you might be saying, but this girl crazy. Let's look at the start list. And let me tell you why I think Christian Coleman could possibly win the Diamond League and pick up an individual spot at Worlds. So Christian Coleman has had a couple of seasons that they've just not been going his way. At the Olympics, he did just pick up an individual spot, got a spot on the relay team, and USA made a mess of that. Went to the trials, run an impressive time if you ask me. He ran 9.86 and still couldn't make top 3. So I know that for Christian Coleman, this is a season that he really, really wanted that individual spot, and I am thinking that the Diamond League is an opportunity for him to pick up a spot at Worlds. And I know that, this is something that Christian Coleman is eyeing as well. Who are the persons that, he will have to go up against? It's not going to be easy, but let's take a look at the start list. So we have Great Britain's Jeremy Azu, 9.97 is his season's best. We have Akeem Blake out of Jamaica, who ran his PB this season, 9.88, right? But Akeem has already booked his spot for Tokyo, right? So yeah, while it would be a big deal, Akeem is the defending Diamond League champion. I know he wants to go out there and defend his title, but I think more is on the line for Christian Coleman than Akeem Blake at the moment. Trey Van Brommel of USA as well. Now, this is another competitor who might be eyeing the win, because again, Trayvon didn't pick up an individual spot at the trials, to my knowledge, right? So it would be important for Trayvon as well to win the Diamond League finals, because that would give him his ticket to his individual spot to Japan, right? Christian Coleman, who ran 9.86 this season at the USA trials, as I said, impressive time, but again, it was still not enough for him to pick up an individual spot. We have USA's Brandon Hicklin, his season's best and PB's 9.93. Sean Mazwangani of South Africa, 10.07 is his season's best. Akani Simbini, who started out the season extremely well, his season's best 9.90. And also from South Africa, the youngster Bayanda Walaza, 9.94 is his season's best, right? So that is the lineup. The reality is, I think Christian probably stand a better chance of winning than Tia. It's going to be more difficult for Tia to win her race, because Julian Alfred is definitely going to be, it's not going to be a walkover. Julian Alfred is going to, Tina Clayton will have to get the better of Julian Alfred, and we know that Julian is in superb form, right? But for Christian Coleman, when you look on the lineup, if Christian can come back and run as good as he ran at the national trials, then I think it is very possible for Christian Coleman to walk away winner of the Diamond League and book his spot for Tokyo, Japan. Right now, the persons who I'm seeing who are going to be giving him some good competition is Jamaica's Akeem Blake and South Africa's Akani Simbini, in my opinion. And I think that if the Christian Coleman that we saw at the US national trials show up at the Zurich Diamond League, then it is very likely that he could pick up an individual spot for World Championships. But of course, I want to hear from you if you think any of this that I'm saying makes any sense to you at all. So let me hear in the chat. I'm thinking that the Diamond League 100-meter champions are going to be Jamaica's Tia Clayton on the women's side and Christian Coleman of USA on the men's side. Drop your comment. I want to hear your thoughts. Does that make any sense at all to you? Let me know in the chat. And if not, who are you predicting to win both the women and the men's 100 meters at the Zurich Diamond League that is set for tomorrow? Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. And until my next upload, take care.